everyone. Welcome to the second ever sneak peek of the Boutique Hotel Investment Conference that will be taking place this summer, June 2nd to June 3rd. I'm really excited about today's guest stars. We're going to start off with about a presentation, and then we'll get into Q&A with our operation gurus that we have here today that also sit on our advisory board as well. So if you're interested in coming to the conference, here's a sneak peek, what you can expect. And if you have any questions, we're always here to answer them on BLLAevents.com. We also have a live chat team there too. So first of all, thank you to our sponsors for this session, rezStream, Hospitality Solutions, as well as Travel Outlook Premium Hotel Call Center. They are amazing members of our association as well. Overview of the conference. This is the original investment conference for boutique hotels. This was established in 2013, and it began to prove to the industry that boutique hotels are profitable. Get rid of that stereotype that they weren't. But now in its 9th year, it's just it has new purpose because that's already been proven. So we now focus on investment strategies, tips, case studies, and mentorship for the authentic side of boutique hospitality. 9 years producing this conference. Up until the pandemic, we were hosting this the first Wednesday of every June live in New York City at the Time Center, but now we will be temporarily going digital. Also BLLA, the Boutique Lifestyle Leaders Association, this association, we are the producers of this conference, and we've been around for 12 years, and we're a pivotal organization to help move along the boutique movement. Who is this conference for? It is both for those on the hotel side, so owners, developers, operators, investors, managers, executives, those involved in hotels and on the investment expansion side, as well as vendors and suppliers, technology, design, architecture, real estate, financial institutions, legal firms, and such. And here are you'll also see some examples of speakers who are coming. We might have more, 50 sessions, from keynotes to presentations to mentorship circles to case studies to panels to virtual speed dating. You'll be enriched in the world of boutique hotel investment. So far we have 50 speakers, and from successful hoteliers to banks to lenders to investors to asset managers to operators, you'll gain exclusive knowledge in how to prepare your investment. Our keynote speakers, we have Nicholas Clayton, the CEO of Capella Group, Ian Schrager back for the 7th time, I believe. You're the founder of the Ian Schrager Company. Hilda Perez Alvarado, the CEO of JLL, as well as Andrew Zobler, the CEO of Seidel Group. Some agenda topics. The full agenda is currently live at BLLAevents.com. From rebuilding amid a pandemic, boutique hotel development, creative debt financing, securing a big deal case study, view from the chief financial officer, optimizing your assets, as well as scaling a boutique hotel collection. All very important topics for our industry. Why should you be there? One, it's connection. So the virtual speed dating, messaging capabilities, mentorship sessions, dedicated networking time, and chat features. There's so many ways to connect with attendees. 2, education. It's what we're most known for. You do not have to sift through a ton of panels about big brands to find one great thing about boutique that actually resonated with you. It is only about boutique. We do not talk about big brands because not always is it relevant. Sometimes it is, but a lot of the times we know it's not. Things are very specialized to boutique. We do things a little bit differently. They may be similar, but they're still different. So you'll get a 360 perspective on boutique hotel investment. And last but not least, but maybe the most important, deal creation. The who's who, they're all gonna be there. Through curated connection, education opportunities, we have strategized ways to have this conference act as a platform for deals to get made. That's not through our mouth, that's from the word, the mouth of our attendees over the past many years with this conference. I feel like they dubbed that, and then we just kind of went along with it. What will you learn? Just some examples: financing, operations, ownership. Some more examples of our speakers. And now let's get to the good part. So I am joined by two amazing leaders on the operations side of hospitality. Jack Westergom, he's the CEO of Manhattan Hospitality Advisors, as well as Dan Daley, the COO of Relevant Group. Again, they both sit on our advisory board for BLLA. And then me, since I can never remember to introduce myself, I am Ariella Karajian, the partner and COO over at BLLA. Hey, Jack. Hey, Dan. How are you guys?
Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Well, let's just do like really quick intros, like 30 seconds. Jack, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have been in the business through 4 downturns. That's an odd way of looking at business, but with certainly what we've gone through over the last couple of years, that's it. I'd like to think in those 4 decades of downturns, there have been a lot of upturns on how to do things better, smarter, design-wise, operational-wise. We are a hospitality asset management advisory firm and a receiver, specialized mostly in upper upscale, boutique, and luxury assets.
Awesome. Thanks, Jack. Dan, what about you?
I'm Dan Daley, COO of Relevant Group. We're a developer and manager of lifestyle hotels based in Los Angeles. We have 2 developments underway that we're getting ready to, not underway, that we're getting ready to open in the next 90 days. Do a lot in the food and beverage space, in addition to hotel development, and excited to be on the panel with Jack.
Thanks, guys. So when did you two first meet?
We truthfully, we met through BLLA.
Oh my gosh. Okay. See, do you guys see what BLLA does? Look at this. I love it. That first advisory board meeting.
Jack's a legend in our business, so it's a privilege to be on the same panel as him.
Jack, everyone knows you. Like, there's not one person I run into who doesn't know who you are.
Well, hopefully they know me for good things.
Oh, great things.
And not bad things. I love being associated with cutting edge folks like Dan, who have created some incredible properties, incredible products and services. And I love the quote, the edginess without being over the edge that he and his firm possess.
I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so I actually want to start off with what we were just talking about before we went live, because it was really interesting. So Dan, do you want to like recap what you had heard about the number of rooms that opened that were built last year?
Well, I'll let Jack speak to certainly his point, which was a great one. But I was just reading the daily newsletters in my inbox, and I knew that there were probably 250,000 rooms in the pipeline in construction in 2021, but I saw a statistic that said that in the last 12 months, 100,000 hotel rooms have come online, which from a percentage standpoint probably represents a 1% or 1.5% increase in supply relative to overall room count in the United States. But just notionally, the fact that 100,000 hotel rooms have come online in the last 12 months, it was just a shocking statistic. But Jack had some really great insight relative to right size that notional value.
Yeah, what was the reality you were thinking of, Jack, when you heard that?
Well, I appreciate that. Certainly, as always, Dan's kind words. There was just an article by Smith Travel, I think, came out today or yesterday. There were about 9% of the hotel rooms closed. And a lot of those reopened over the last year due to COVID. But while 100,000 or increase of a point and a half on supply is significant, I don't have the exact number, but there were an awful lot of hotels that have been converted now to, or in the process of being converted to educational training, student housing, healthcare facilities and so forth. And our business is sort of survival of the fittest. After every uptick or downturn, there's always a significant number of hotels that are physically obsolescent or financially obsolescent and end up being culled, moved to the side for other purposes or uses. And I think the point Dan made of 100,000 new hotel rooms, there's 100,000 new opportunities then for folks to go and try these new guest rooms with new services, new design. So we have a thriving industry. It's been down a little bit, but I think we're looking for a great year or next 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's also, I feel like in every either board meeting, committee meeting with our members, the one theme is, shifting business models, which I think boutique hotels have been doing for a while anyways. But to your point, Jack, like maybe not all your rooms are hotel rooms, right? You have to repurpose some of them. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, no question. I think one of the things that Dan talked about earlier were our owners and operators handling new hotel openings from an operating model and cost perspective. Today, we are in a transitionary period right now where, yes, the vaccine's being distributed. I think the news today said that 25% of Americans are now fully vaccinated, but that still leaves 75%. And it's always been about the fear of travel, fear of flying, fear of meeting due to COVID. And I think that fear it's like an onion. It's starting to peel away. We're starting to feel a lot more comfortable. I've certainly taken a couple business trips over the last few months, but it's how do you open a hotel? How do you staff a hotel for today? And you don't open up a brand new hotel fully staffed like you might have in 2017, 18, or 19. So it's a balance, and I know Dan's got some great thoughts on that.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan.
I love being on panels with Jack because I'm going to take away that phrase. Fear is like an onion. That's I'm repurposing that. But no, we're getting ready to open 402 keys across 2 hotels in the next 90 days. And the conversations that we're having with our property team are, as Jack mentioned, that balance between needing to staff up appropriately to execute on the level of service that our guests would require or expect from, a luxury lifestyle property, but recognizing that we certainly can't staff at the opening as we would have in years past, simply because visibility into occupancy and business levels continues to be incredibly uncertain, although that focus has started to narrow a little bit. And so one of the strategies that we're deploying, and it's still a very fluid situation, is obviously onboarding our key group, especially in the heart of the house in housekeeping. In the housekeeping department, let's use that as an example, which is generally the largest department in a hotel. And so what we're doing is, we're obviously hiring our core group of team members, and then in addition to that, we're working with outsourced groups, outsourced staffing groups who have familiarity with brand standards and with the project in general, but we don't have to carry those salaries on our books, and we can plug and play, so to speak, as needed based on upticks in business demands. So our goal is ultimately to maintain flexibility on your labor model, which is the primary driver of your expenses in a hotel. And so that's one of the tools that we kind of have in our toolbox. And then certainly a strategy in terms of phasing. Once we forecast occupancy will be X, we'll bring on an additional Y number of team members. But our strategy is to maintain flexibility in the labor model, certainly, so that we're executing on the guest experience that we need to execute on, but being mindful of flow through and ultimately profitability as the properties ramp up and as we work our way through COVID.
Mm-hmm. I think
a lot of it, if I might, it's about my two favorite words lately are right sizing. You want to make sure that you right size your program. If you intend on building a hotel that'll have 3 restaurants and 2 bars, or 3 bars, 2 restaurants, what's the right number of them to open today for today's business? or do you just want to open them up and then field of dreams, hope that if you open them, they'll come? So certainly right sizing on programming, but it's also right sizing, as Dan alluded to, and staffing. Do you staff for what will be, or do you staff for today and what is today? And it's a difficult balance, especially when you're a new hotel. You want to put your best foot forward. I'm a firm believer that guest service is really what creates memory moments for guests. And the reality is, the great service isn't always about the number of staff, but it's how well they've been trained and the staffing that, the service that they do deliver. So those are certainly things that come to mind.
The training, I think you probably have heard me say this before, but when I see a lot of new hoteliers, usually a bit younger, enter the space, somehow that doesn't matter for some reason. The training, it's the design. How cool can this hotel look? And what gets overlooked is like the operations, like what's happening there, the what is hospitality. I think we've kind of forgotten that, which is kind of what we're saying this decade. It's all about going back to true hospitality, which, Jack, to your point, that's exactly what it is. It's guest service, and it's not always the number of staff, but how well they're trained. I think that's a phenomenal point that we don't hear a lot anymore. We need to hear it more. So that's great. We only have a few minutes left, everyone. This is a sneak peek. You're just getting a little bit. The conference will be 2 days long with a lot of sessions back to back. So you'll have a full week to go back and watch everything. But I want to get to this last question here. Can we talk about other revenue sources for boutique hotels today? What are your thoughts?
So I think it's a really interesting trend. So this concept of sort of unbundling, at least in my experience, this concept of sort of unbundling hotel services, and offering, for example, offering subscriptions to gyms, spas, this concept of now, virtually everything is for rent, from conference rooms to repurposing to co-working spaces. We're at one of our properties, we significantly overbuilt parking for code reasons tied to another asset. But we're in discussions about how we can rent out some of the parking spaces in that hotel to local residents at a price point that falls below what they would traditionally pay. These are spaces that will, and again, it's a small example, but these are spaces that would frankly go unutilized. So how can we maximize revenue in a smart and intelligent way? We're talking to an electric vehicle company that begins with a T about installing a supercharging station in one of the hotels. It would be the only one of its kind in like a 15-20 mile radius. I think it's a really interesting opportunity, and especially in the boutique space, I think boutique owners and operators are more adept at identifying those areas of opportunity and recreating and repurposing underutilized spaces into things like experiential retail. I'll go to I'll give Andrew Zobler a lot of credit, and this is a great example when he knocked out a couple rooms in the Nomad to create the auditorium where they have a magic show, which has been sold out every night for however many years it's been going on now, a couple of years now. So I think it's necessity is the mother of invention, and you're starting to see some really creative ideas come through in our space, and those were just a couple that we've tried to identify and maximize value in.
Mm-hmm.
The whole food and beverage business has been in a revolution during COVID, in my opinion. Takeout food and beverage. A lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants, independent restaurants, did takeout before, but when you throw in the hotel restaurant now, to be able to take, even though you're not staying here, if you like eating here, bring that type of food home. There are hotel restaurants and independent restaurants that are sending out emails now, marketing, here are the recipes of the week you ought to try. And oh, by the way, if you come by for $100, we can send you a farmer's market box with meat and produce and fish that'll actually allow you to cook all of those. And we're going to give you our recipes. So there's some really cool things. Enhanced grab and go, which is a lot more than a stale sandwich now, and being able to get coffee. Things that people want that they weren't able to get before. Sanitizing products and vending machines that a lot of the bigger hotels have actually gone to. Not saying we should do sanitizing things, but I think people are looking for opportunities to buy. We just have to do a better job of merchandising and putting it in front of them so they can actually buy. And those are just some of the quick things that I've seen that have actually taken off. Renting guest rooms for private dining, empty guest rooms for private dining experience, which sort of gets you around the COVID restrictions in a lot of places. Interesting, unique, but a lot of thoughts gone into how can we survive. And I think that'll now change to how can we thrive using that creativity and the thought process that everybody put into it during COVID.
Mm-hmm. These are phenomenal insights. I couldn't stop. I had to start writing. I know everyone here, you all have like a ideas list now. I mean, Dan, I love what you said though. Necessity is the mother of invention. It's so true. And then Jack, maybe this is a session for our leadership conference. That was merchandising your hotel. I do think that you are absolutely right that we, in hotels now, the opportunity to buy things, adventures, whatever it is, there's not too many that do it well. Let's just say that. So I think tips and tricks for that would be awesome. That's all the time we have for today. I just have a few last minute announcements. And Jack, Dan, thank you guys so much for all your support with BLLA, with this conference, donating your insights for the audience today. And thank you everyone for being here on a Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, depends on where you are. We do have a 2-day conference, the Boutique Hotel Investment Conference. We do have tickets available right now. It's June 2nd to 3rd. Thank you again to our sponsors, rezStream, as well as Travel Outlook. And if you have any questions, info@BLLAevents.com. We will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. And that's all the time we have for today. Dan, Jack, I'll see you at the next meeting. And to the audience, I'll see you at the Boutique Hotel Investment Conference. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Ariella.
Bye.